Getting it real with RealChunWai on the hottest topics, frank, engaging and candid. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Malaysia has just turned 65 years old. The country was set up as a secular country, but there are now fears that religious groups are getting stronger and louder. Let's hear it from lawyer Siti Kasim. Good evening, Malaysia and followers from around the world. Welcome back to my show. Tonight, we have with us activist lawyer Siti Kasim, my favorite guest. Welcome, Siti.
Oh, thank you very much for having me again.
Okay, Siti, we can't talk about the celebration of the National Day without referring to the Federal Constitution,
Yes.
which was drafted in 1957, because this is the basis, the foundation of the country, the Federal Constitution. Everything comes back to this Federal Constitution. Now, and when we talk about National Day, of course, that if we look back at what was written, it states very clearly that Malaysia is a secular country. But over the years, we seem to have this drifting away from it, that people do not want to talk about it. There's some politicians who prefer to keep quiet. Every time we talk about secular country, it remains silent. So we have this deafening silence that people are afraid to put their stand and say, look, Malaysia is a secular country. So Siti, as a lawyer, what does the Federal Constitution says about this?
Okay, this is strictly my personal opinion lah.
Okay.
You see, Malaysia started off with a constitution that actually makes Malaysia a secular country, and that actually guarantees freedom of religion while establishing Islam as the religion of the Federation to symbolize its importance to Malaysian society. Then along the years, okay, since our independence, our constitution was amended hundreds of times. And this goes on without any sort of issues by our MPs then. And then especially with the amendment of Article 121A. Okay, this article makes it become a bit confusing, okay, between the courts of Sharia courts and our civil courts. Okay, I mean, if I go into it too much, it will be a long lecture. But there are opinions that we are not a fully secular country because we do have the Sharia system. But on the other, so what they call it as a hybrid system in a way. But then again, the Sharia court's supposed to be initially only for family matters with regards to marriage, divorce, and inheritance. But now the line is being blurred because of the amendment to Article 121A. So it's hard to say that we are fully secular, and I don't think there is a word in our federal constitution that says secular, but all the rights, the freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of everything that's being written actually showed the way of a secular country. Yeah, so that's the position we are in right now.
Our Bapa Merdeka, Tunku Abdul Rahman, was very clear. He specifically says that Malaysia is a secular country. And Tun Hussein also came out and said that, look, Malaysia is a secular country. And then in 2001, Mahathir came to the picture and said that, well, Malaysia is an Islamic state. So that changed a bit. It was purely, of course, a political statement. It was not a legal statement.
Yes.
But he said that. And of course, the dynamics changed. What is your view on that?
You see, merely declaring Malaysia as an Islamic state will not make Malaysia an Islamic state. Okay, as you have said, Dr. Mahathir is a politician. As we all know, politicians will do and say anything to gain support from the grassroots. So what is important as citizens, we need to watch the direction and development of our constitution, and the law. This is the key. So I don't really care what politicians wants to declare, but what most important is the movement of our constitution and the law. And I don't feel good about it at the moment. Yes.
Yeah, and of course we know that at that point, Dr. Mahathir pulled in Anwar Ibrahim, who was championing the menerap nilai-nilai Islam,
Yes.
introducing the values of Islam, which was actually his way of sort of like crafting around that he's the push for a more religious agenda.
No, I
And
don't. I think what he was doing is merely to shut the influence of Anwar. Bring Anwar into UMNO, so that it will stop Anwar being too popular with the public or things like that. I think it's more political move rather than Dr. Mahathir being more Islamic. I don't think that's where he wants to go. But unfortunately, by bringing in Anwar, I believe that he wants his insight. He makes it. For me lah, the amendment of Article 121A is the key in which I was made to understand that he's the one who came up with this, and he's the one that changed the landscape of Malaysia.
Yeah. Of course, I suppose that, as you say, that perhaps that the Dr. Mahathir wanted to keep his enemy close.
Yes, yes.
And there was one way of doing it.
But it's the worst move to make lah, because then I think then it makes it easier for Anwar Ibrahim to implement his ideas and his dream. And I don't think he has stopped. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think that those of us who are in their 60s, 50s will remember that most of the missionary schools, the crosses in these schools started disappearing.
Yep.
We could see the shape was changing.
Everything's changed. Yep.
Yeah.
I was one of them from Methodist Girls School, and we have a huge, cross. When I went back with my alumni and all that, is gone, nothing anymore. In fact, we even have 2 canteens now, and both canteens are halal, but one canteen is for the Malays and one canteen is for non-Malays. And
serious?
Yeah, and it's requested by a Malay teacher. It's crazy. It's crazy. I raised this during Masli, he was in the education minister, and he said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong being religious."
Yeah, that's nothing wrong, but you cannot segregate or encourage segregation of students. They should be mixing together. That's the whole point.
Exactly. This is not about being religious or not. This is about unity. And what are you doing by having 2 canteens? Allowing this to happen in schools. Well, I think I've said a lot of things before when he was the Minister of Education, but some people still defended him. The issue here is not being religious or not. It's just about the things being done in our schools. Yeah.
Another important component that has more or less disappeared, sometimes it appears, sometimes it just go away, would be the Rukun Negara, the 5 principles of the country. It is slowly been removed or disappeared quietly. Why do you think that this important Rukun Negara has made its close exit now? Why?
Why? Because our politicians feel that the use of maybe because they don't like the word liberal in there. As you know, there is must ensure a liberal approach towards the rich, science and all that, the cultural traditions. But they I think the politicians, our politicians, they are not keen to see this country advance, like other countries like Indonesia or like our neighbors Thailand or all the Southeast Asian countries, because they have this agenda that they want to actually make Malaysia more Islamic, because in their mind, being more Islamic, then it will be a better country. But there's nothing wrong being more Islamic, but their kind of Islam is not the Islam that I understand, and it is actually making it worse. They want to do the Arab kind of religion. Even Arab is advancing now. This is why I keep saying that religion should not be mixed with politics. All of our values that we've had before, nearly gone. All our cultures nearly gone because they want to try and being like Arabs in their mind. Even the Arabs change, but they are becoming more Arabs than the Arabs. I blame it all down to the politicians, okay? And it's all down to them who set the laws as well as the policies.
In Indonesia, once they set up a principles, it remains forever, and they encourages diversity. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, it's always there since independence. And now nothing changed. We have a situation where every time there's a change in prime minister, you have a new set of values, new set of rules.
Yes.
So one Malaysia, Keluarga Malaysia, everybody keeps on changing they want to introduce their own kind of principle. As a result, the Rukun Negara gets diluted because it was done during Tun Razak's time. Now, still on the question of Rukun Negara, because you mentioned here, it says in the Rukun Negara that Malaysia must ensure a liberal approach towards the rich and varied cultural traditions. So all culture. So what does liberal approach here means to you? Your interpretation.
Okay, see, as you understand, this liberal word has been made like a bad,
criminal phrase.
Yes. So basically, they have managed to brainwash the nation or teach the nation that liberal is bad, but actually the meaning of liberal, to us who understand the meaning of it, the true meaning of it is about willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own, meaning that we should be open to new ideas, and is relating to political or social philosophy that promotes individual rights, civil liberties, democracy and free enterprise. So it's all about that, being a liberal, meaning that I accept your view, even though I don't agree I don't agree with it, but I respect your view. So the same should be given to me, okay? But not in this people, they try to say liberal means LGBT, free sex, it's nothing to do with that. But they have managed to actually turn the word around and make it so bad that using the word liberal now means that you have free sex, you are easy, you promote a certain lifestyle, that's what they managed to brainwash the public with the meaning of the word liberal. And the same with the word secular as well, yeah.
For us, liberal means an open and very progressive idea.
Correct.
The kind of encourages, surely, okay, the Prime Minister, the late Tun Razak, wouldn't have created and approved this approach of liberal approach if you try to imagine what these past guys are saying. Liberal means equals to LGBT. And their favorite word, of course, is hedonism. I don't even know whether they know what they're talking about when they use that.
Well, you see, how did we get to this stage where liberal secular words are being demonized, and people, the public think it's bad? It's because of the years of brainwashing, indoctrination, espoused and supported by our government through their machineries, education, our media. You look at the mainstream media, you know, they keep on hounding the same kind of things. And the amount of ceramah, religious, that keep on pounding on it. So this is how majority of the Malaysians are thinking, you know, bad about these kind of things. And of course, past gleefully, happily riding on the you know, on this things done by the government, including PH government. You know, even 2 years they didn't do anything with regards to this riding on religion thing. So that's why I keep saying that we must think further, in the sense that we must have this separation of this between politics and religion. You know, take away the separation of religion and state. I think that is the key to cure our country.
Siti, more and more Malay politicians, they do not want to give their opinion, express themselves when it comes to issues relating to religion. Perhaps they feel that, look, the electoral base, the majority of the voters will be Muslim and Malay. They rather play safe by not commenting. We have a few from Muda who have spoken up, the younger politicians. Now, why do you choose to be different and express your views strongly against this? Or you feel that you're fighting against a tie?
Okay. First of all, I'm a free agent in a sense that I am a person that speak for myself. I don't have bosses. I don't have leaders I don't have a political party. Hence, therefore, I am free to speak my mind, and I can be true to myself. Okay. And I just want to make clear that, you know, I think people now beginning to see that I am not anti-religion or anti-Malay or anything like that. You know, for me, religion is personal, and it shouldn't be mixed with politics. Federal government have no business in managing religion, any religion, okay? As per our constitution, religion of Islam is under the purview of the sultans. And I am trying to advocate that we must do this, follow the constitution. We must stop our federal government at first. For now, federal government, no intrusion of religion, because they set policies, they set syllabus, they set the laws and everything. So we do not want our politicians to interfere or making any policies trying to inject their moral values according to their beliefs. Yeah. And I also want to say that I think with the internet, you know, media, social media is becoming more accessible to the public. And I do believe the Malay society, especially, you know, I won't say only the youngs, because I'm not a young person, but there are many, I mean, many of our peers, they also are very, you know, into this social media. And they have been reading themselves, they have seen, they have heard how these politicians using religion as their political tool. And this makes it bad for the religion itself, in this case, Islam, being used by many of the politicians, you know, for their own sake. And why many politicians in our August House refuse to talk about this subject matter? Because they might have this party whip saying don't touch this because it's too sensitive, you know. But this is where I feel that if you are in power, for example, PH was in power, they have the machineries at their you know, in their hands. They could explain to the public what is it they are trying to do. They are not trying to put down religion or anything. In fact, they are trying to enhance the status of Islam by actually not allowing politicians or any kind of agencies or administrative using religion as their tool. You know, so this is why I'm very upset with politicians, and this is why I offer myself to go into it and actually say something in Parliament about this, because these corruption and all the misdeeds done by what we are seeing now is only a symptom of really the real sickness, which is actually using religion. This religion, when they use it in Malaysia, religion, Islam and Malay is very intertwined. The moment you talk about Islam, you are bringing the Malays along. So when they use like showing how pious they are and all that, and using, and Hadi Awang saying, or one of the religious people saying it's okay. Oh no, I think is it Zakir Naik, I think, who said it's okay to support a corrupt Muslim rather than a non-corrupt Muslim, non-Muslim. Then what is that? And this is supposed to be a really so-called religious person. And then Hadi Awang said, oh, we must support a Muslim leader, no matter what, whether they are corrupted or what, instead of supporting a non-Muslim who is clean, this is why I said, and then you must understand the psyche of Malaysian as well. Majority of them are feudal. They follow the leaders. They listen to their leaders, and they really have this great respect towards people with status, with money, and with popularity and all that. So it is important these leaders, play a good role. So that's why we must stop this using of religion in politics. We must stop political parties that use religion as their political tool. It's so important. If you want to stop corruption, you want to stop these people using their status as if they are God, or kings and queens, just because they have loads of money. We have to start by getting rid of religion from the state. Give it back to the sultans to manage. Yeah, I think that will be a good first step in to cure this country. Otherwise, I can't see that we can change, to be honest. Yeah.
Siti, are you encouraged by the fact that recently the Conference of Rulers decided that JAKIM will now report to this Majlis Agama Nasional, chaired by the Sultan of Selangor?
God,
they're going to take it back.
I was like cheering. I'm no royalist or anything. I have nothing against the royals or pro-royals or anti-royal. No. But in our country, we have the sultans, and they do play a very big part when it comes to religion of Islam. And because in this country right now, Islam is being used a lot by politicians, by political parties and all that. So I am so glad that finally, the Conference of Rulers put down their foot and say, no, you are not going to, but still you look at past how they contemptuously going against the royalties, for the royal stand, and that is really something is quite scary, to be honest. When they see that they can go against the sultans, who very clearly in our constitution says that they are in charge of Islam. But these politicians, they cannot take that. So that's why I hope that the sultans will support this idea that the federal government shouldn't have any role in managing religion, because under the law, it's under their hands, the sultan's hands.
The Siti, we're having this conversation. We're doing all this in English. Obviously, the most important part would be the mass the most important listeners, the Malay-speaking audience. You have spoken a lot, over the years on this issue, and we continue to have this conversation and dialogue. How have you tried, you and your friends, how have you tried to pass this message down to the rural areas and the Malay-speaking audience so they understand the better?
Actually, to be honest, I have no problem connecting with the people in the rural areas. It's more the problem with the urban people. I think it's a misconception
Okay.
that the rural areas are the problem. No, they are not. They are very, as I have said earlier, they look up to their leaders. You know, they I mean, I went to Kelantan the other day for Ora Asli case, and I met this one Kelantan guy, expressing his frustration towards the state government, and he even cried. He was so like emotional about it until he cried in front of me. He really cannot stand, he said, with the way PAS is taking the state, the way the country is going.
Yeah.
And I really was shocked to, and this is not my first time meeting people on the street, generally the Malays and all that. And don't underestimate the Malays, to be honest. I mean, Kelantan is the heartland of PAS, right? I
Yes.
got nothing but, welcome. And in fact, I go to their shop to eat, and they say free for me, because they believe, they understand where I'm coming from, because I've never said anything against Islam. I just want to tell people, don't be used by these religious political people who use Islam but not actually raising the status of Islam. And this is what I see. And really, it's about leadership. It's about the mindset of the people who are running this country. Don't worry about the masses, because the masses will eventually follow and understand what you are trying to do when their life is better, when they have food on their table, when they feel their life is not being like the kongkong, the
triangle.
Yeah, exactly. So this is I always feel we have to start from these people holding powers, and they are the one who can make the change. And Malaysians generally, they will, when they see like things which are true, they will agree. They will actually understand where you are coming from. For example, like recently I started to make more short videos about issues, and because a lot of TikTok people are Malays, and I'm surprised to see the comments made by the Malays. Although they said, ini kali saya setuju dengan Siti, saya support Siti, things like that. So I think because these people, they only read and heard stories about me, which I might say that the troopers have successfully planted this idea of Siti Kasim as being anti-Islam, anti-Malay. Yeah. But that's why I think maybe I need to be more visual, so that people can understand where I'm coming from, that I am never against anything or anybody, but just seeing from where we are, the country is being taken by the politicians, especially the one using religion. But I'm sure with the, I started talking about religion many years already.
Yes.
And when I first started, I don't see many Malays, coming out to speak up against the lebais, against the agamawans, and against politicians and all that. But now with this Twitter, TikTok, and all these social medias, people are beginning to see much more clearly, and I see and I read a lot of comments, by the Malays, and how they are against, politicians, leaders who are using religion as their political tool. So I am glad about this as well. Yeah, we are progressing with regards to information, I think. Yeah.
That's the beauty of social media, that you can reach directly to your audience, and they can actually hear it from you yourself.
Yes.
So that's they're not hearing through a third party who's telling a different story by you. You have been meeting a lot of the Malay audience over the last few weeks. I noticed that from your Instagram and from your social media, that you have been getting quite interesting and meeting a lot of them. What were the questions they will usually ask you at these dinners and small gatherings?
Oh, you mean like the meeting of like-minded Muslims?
Yeah, yes,
Oh,
yes, that
I
one.
have
Yeah.
many Malay friends, Muslim friends. They actually, it's just that some of them a bit afraid to come forward because of their businesses, and in fear of, or they work for government. This idea of being fearful that the government can do something to them, like for example, government servants. They have this understanding that if they don't vote for the government, they will get into trouble. They can be taken action by the government. This is the thing I think I need to explain to the public, that there are laws in this country. Even though the government, let's say your bosses, like teachers, for example, if they want to say something about their political, nothing to stop them, to be honest. And there is no law to stop them, and no employer, even government as an employer, can take action against you if you are going against them. Yeah, so there's nothing to fear. And as I said, that I know many Malays, who are not in line with the current understanding and implementation of Islam in Malaysia, but they are scared to speak up. Okay, because of what I have said earlier. Believe you me, even the Malay on the street, for example, when I was once in a Grab car with a Malay driver. So so we started chatting, and then the RUU 355 came into it. So I explained briefly to him what it is all about, because you see, the rhetoric being used by PAS is that they say, oh, RUU 355 adalah untuk memperkasakan Islam. Okay, so they don't know anything. What is RUU 355 all about? So they feel, oh yeah, then we must support, because this is to make Islam stronger, better, whatever. Then when I explained to him, and he said, oh Kak, kalau macam tu saya pun tak setuju. You see, after I explained to him what it is all about. So it is about information to be relayed to the public, explain to the public what they are trying to do. So yeah, that's why I feel that these people who are using religion, they feel angry, because I think they are losing ground. They're losing ground. If there is no aid coming from government supporting them and giving them money and all that, they will go to nothing, basically. Okay, so this is why I say government should not get involved with any kind of religious movement or activities or anything. Federal government is to manage the country in terms of their health, in terms of their economy, in terms of their stability. That's what they are supposed to do. They are not supposed to try and indoctrinate the public on what a certain religion should be. Yeah.
Sorry, Siti, my question was, at these gatherings, what were the concerns or the questions they asked or posed to you?
Oh, Which gathering? You mean the one, the like-minded?
Yes, you have been having, yes, that's the one.
Oh, what I am expressing to you all with
Okay,
regards
right.
to the more and more cengkaman, the control by the religious authorities towards our lives, and that these people, most of them are very, very expert in the Quran, okay, and they are not like some of them from Arabic school. They can read Arabs and all that, so this is their worries are just like myself. The clamping down on our personal freedom and the laws they are trying to put onto us, as Muslims, and I, and these are the concern, how, and some businesses, how it's affecting them as well with regards to these religious people stopping the Malays from having alcohol business, for example. I mean, if you're a Malay, you can't get alcohol license, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this is terrible. This is business, How can you stop a person just for being who they are, or being a Muslim? They cannot have a license for alcohol. I mean, that's ridiculous, and trying to control every parts of our lives. But the issue here is that they won't touch the orang kayangan. They will touch only the poor people, people who cannot fight. These are the people they will put fear into, and so
Siti,
that's the thing.
now, Siti, we know that the past has always been very consistent on what they want to do. But now they seems to be much louder, much outspoken, perhaps because that they are part of the federal government. They have 18 MPs, and now they have this price coveted position of having a religious minister there. So they have seems to be speaking up quite loudly. The same person has been asking Muslims to stay away from the Bon Odori Japanese cultural festival. And of course, thank God that His Royal Highness the Sultan of Selangor put him down.
Yep.
And then his party threatened to hold protests all over nationwide. Okay, if you have concerts featuring international artists. And then lately it wants Jakim to be more involved against concerts. Okay, why do you think that they have become much louder now?
Oh, they are emboldened now because they are part of the government, as you say yourself, so they feel more powerful. They feel that they can do everything now, so they're trying to put in everything they can right now. But honestly, even before PAS comes in as a part of the government, Jakim already involved in many of our government agencies, that. Everything has to be consulted through Jakim if they want to do anything. It's already happening. Okay, it's not new. But of course, PAS is much more stupid to announce that they are not so bright, right? To be honest, I can guarantee you, because they think they are so big, they think that they can say things, they don't care about anybody else, because they think that we are fools. So they bright people will not actually say lah, bright people will actually just do it quietly. And that's what happened. It's been happening for many, many years already, where all these religious people are involved in everything, in our education department, in our police department, in our army department. They are everywhere now. Everywhere there will be a Jakim rep there. So anything they have to consult. So it's nothing new. If people don't know that all this rubbish has been going on for years, okay? And PH did nothing when they were in power.